Hi, friends. This is Wendy Harrop, and welcome to the Say Yes to Yourself podcast. On the Say Yes to Yourself podcast, you'll hear stories from women just like us who are adding the practice of saying yes in their daily lives in big and small ways, and as a result, are experiencing the truth that everybody wins when you say yes to yourself. Saying yes to yourself is a graceful unfolding, an intentional becoming of the very best version of you. It is my hope that in these conversations, we are able to find our truth and be inspired and empowered to live our very best lives. I'm so excited to go on this journey with you, and I look forward to finding a bit of our own story in each other's. Hey, friend, welcome back to the podcast. Happy Friday. I hope you have amazing plans this weekend. It's all so good, isn't it? Happy Easter if you are celebrating. It's just beautiful, and spring is here. A new beautiful season. I am full of new beautiful ideas. Just the few days that I've been spending on the property, seeing what was underneath all that snow and getting all the soil ready for a new season of growth has me very much in my head and in my heart about this new season of growth for me. And it, of course, makes me think about this season of growth for you. And I really want to know how you are saying yes to yourselves, how the stories of these amazing women that I get the joy and honor to speak with, how their story is inspiring you to your next yes. Each of these yeses, whether they're big, whether they're small, whether they're what route you take to the grocery store or what next trip you're going to go on, they all gather momentum that spurn us all on. And I really get so much joy out of hearing what you're saying yes to. So please share that with me. You can DM me on Instagram at wendy.harrop. You can send a fan mail straight in this podcast app, wherever you're listening to this podcast. If you go to the show notes, there's a little link called fan mail, and you can just send me a love note. But what I want it to be is how you're saying yes to yourself. So it's your own love note. I just am really so grateful for you, for this beautiful community, for the things that we are doing individually and collectively. It's just such a joy. So thank you. Thank you for being here. And I know you are going to love today's guest. We have Dana Williams with us. She is an executive coach, speaker, author, and founder of Dana Williams Consulting. After 25 years in leadership at Southwest Airlines, she now helps leaders move from performing to thriving by aligning their strengths, core values, and purpose. As a Gallup certified CliftonStrengths coach, she is the creator of the Strengths Journal and Your Authentic Imprint framework. Dana is a Forbes Coach Council member and contributor, host of the Dominate Your Day podcast, and author of The Internal Revolution, Lead Authentically and Build Your Personal Brand from Within. I know you are going to love her, and you are so going to enjoy this conversation with Dana Williams. Dana, I have already decided this is one of my favorite conversations. Thank you
Aw.
so much for being here.
Well, thank you for having me so much, Wendy. I'm so thrilled to be on your show and just have a chat about life and what's going on with all the things we're working on. So,
Oh, it's so fun. It's so fun. And I know you are also a podcaster.
yes.
I love being a guest on other people's podcasts. So I am hoping that you have that beautiful, expansive experience where you're not also leading the conversation and
Yes.
watching the clock and hearing
Thank you.
as your listeners
Thank you.
would hear and all those things. I think that's why I like it so much. I mean,
Yeah.
I love having my own,
Yeah.
but
Uh-huh.
I feel this I don't know what to call it except for a permission slip to speak even more freely
Hmm.
because any background fear that I don't know, this is so silly, but I'm just going to say it out loud because that's how silly things lose their power. That maybe my ex-husband's going to listen to my podcast and I'm going to say something audacious and fabulous. And then he's going to, I don't know, leave me. I don't know. Like he's already gone. Like I don't even
Yeah.
know. Like I don't even like play that tape out. And I know he's not listening to my podcast, but for sure he's not listening to somebody else's podcast. So that helps me feel
Mm,
even more free. So there's a little bit of my shadowy internal
yes.
systems for you. But all to say, I'm happy to have you here.
Well, thank you for sharing that story because I think one of the things that I love to talk about is your authentic self and being vulnerable and sharing that and just really thinking about where does that come from and why am I thinking that? And then getting that trigger and turning it off and turning something else on so that you can have the energy you need. So,
Exactly. And I love that you've said that because there is true power that we can reclaim when we
yes.
play the tape out. I mean, you all witnessed. I didn't even know how to finish that sentence because I didn't ever let it go that
Hmm.
far. And it's helpful to hear those things that are causing resistance out loud in our own voice, not
Mm,
because we're looking for validation or a vote of, yes, you're right, that's terrible from another person, but we're
hmm.
hearing it and then also hearing at the same time how much in opposition that belief or that thought is to what my actual knowing is. So my inner wisdom says, I will not miss out on what's meant for me. My inner wisdom says that everything is always working out for me. My inner wisdom says that if these dreams are in me, these dreams are for me, and that there is nothing or no one who can stand between me and what I want but me.
Well, and I think what you're sharing is how you're reprogramming right there in the moment. And that's exactly what I do. So I'm so excited to hear you talk about it. And I would love to hear how you do that.
Yeah, so for me, that is a process that happens in real time, especially on Thursdays when I'm recording podcast interviews. I'm always telling my listeners I am not the same woman on Thursday afternoon that I was on Thursday morning. And I love that. I am also relatively obsessed with like getting into those shadowy places. So when I say something that I'm like, oh my gosh, what that doesn't
Really?
even sound like Wendy Harrop. What is happening right now? I want to get a flashlight in there and see, like, ooh, okay, how can I, like you said, reprogram? Sometimes it's reparenting, sometimes it's repartnering, sometimes it's, I don't know, refriending how I create a new neural pathway, a new thought system that supports the woman I'm becoming and supports what I actually want and why I want it, not because of how I don't want to feel. I want to focus on how I want to feel.
And how those words, we have what, 90,000 words things that come through thoughts a day. And at least 85% of them are true, just like you experienced, just like you talked about. And
Right.
so it's like, what are the things that you can use to help you reprogram how you're speaking to yourself, what you're saying out loud, because all of those have an effect on our
Yes.
mindset.
Yes, and you said 85% of them are not true, and it's not correct. Please tell me if I have this information correct or not. But it's not that every day there's a new set of 85% of
Yeah.
falsehoods coming
It's
through.
the
It's
same one.
because it's on repeat.
Yeah. Yeah. And because like you said, if you don't make that new neural pathway, you're just continuing to drive down that one road. And it's like, whoa, but we all do it every day. So it's a
Right.
daily thing. Like you said,
Yes.
the leader you're going to be right today is different from the leader you're going to be 6 months from now because you're developing yourself and working on things. And I think that's what's so powerful. And
It
that's why
really,
I love strengths. I love the things that the tools I use to help people navigate that because I had to do it for me and I have to constantly do it every day. So,
right. And you
yeah.
asked what my practice is. It's a lot of, I'm a journaler,
Okay.
and I also really benefit from affirmations that I kind of unpack in that journaling process. So there are a lot of sticky notes, a lot of love notes, a lot of all those things I rattled off of everything is always working out for me, and I will not miss out on what's meant for me. And if these dreams are in you, these dreams are for you. Those are
Mhm.
all on sticky notes right in front of
Mhm.
me. So it is this consistent retraining is what works for me. Now,
Mhm.
I know that you work with strengths and
Mhm.
these tools, and I would
Right.
love to hear what works for you and
Yeah.
what other options there are if someone says, I'm not a journaler, or they don't
Yeah.
necessarily resonate with what works for you.
Right. So this is why I wrote the book, The Internal Revolution, which is what are we saying to ourselves and how do we use that? Because we can't change anything outside the hula hoop around us. There's just
Right.
we don't have any control.
Control is
And
an illusion.
that's right. And so when I learned my Clifton Strengths used to be called Strength Finder was 14 years ago, I was had this aha of, oh, I didn't know I had that talent. And I've been married a long time, and my husband, we did his, and it was like, wow, he has that. I didn't even know it. But once the light bulbs turned on, that we could see, oh, these are getting in my way. Your strengths can get in your way, but they
Ooh.
also are a way of you knowing, oh, I'm getting ready to go on a podcast. Let me turn up my maximizer strength, which is the one, my influencing strength, turn down my ideation a little bit and let me work towards being fully present with my
Mm.
strengths that I have, with responsibility, with futuristic. So it's thinking about my strengths every day. And I created a journal, Gallup, when I rolled this out at Southwest Airlines in our marketing department, because I was a marketer forever, and we started doing strengths. I was like, this is a cool tool. I really want to use this on an ongoing basis. And so I saw that I'd work with our teams and then I'd go help other teams. And it was like, how do people not just put this in the drawer? Because this is what they do.
Right.
They put it in the drawer. Like, yeah, I got my strengths. I can't remember. I got it like 12 years ago, something like that. So I went to Gallup and said, what if we create a daily guide to help you, a companion guide to Clifton Strengths? So I created that in 2018 and got it licensed in 2020. And it
Amazing.
literally, you write, this is my intention for today, and this is why. And then you write, these are the 3 things I've got to get done by the end of the day. It's here every day. And which 3 strengths or which combination of my strengths am I going to use to get that done?
Oh my gosh, I love this. I'm
It
so
works for
excited.
me.
Thank you. Thank you for making that. And of course,
Well,
we will
thank
link
you.
that in the show notes. But that little piece, I mean, I'm sure there are so many pieces that come
Yeah.
together for that. But that piece of, like, yes, this is what the 3 things that have to be done.
Mhm.
Everything else goes on God's to-do list, but
Yeah.
these 3 things have to be done.
Be done today.
And which of my strengths am I calling on to accomplish this? To my mind, that would make me feel like I already did the thing. It's like such a
Yes.
relief instead of something that's yelling at me that's undone.
Right.
Like, I'm equipped.
If you know your full 34 strengths, you know those top 10 are with you all the time. The bottom ones, we don't even want to go look at or worry about. It's that old thing where we learned you're good at this, but you need to work on this. This is no, you're good at this, stay here,
Love it.
stay working here. And
Love it.
so when but you have to train your mind. It's like working out. it's a muscle in our, we talked about the neural pathways. It's like, how do we do this every day? It's a daily work. So I started doing that in 2012. And then I started seeing some changes in my own life and how I looked at myself and how I managed myself. And then all of a sudden, it was like I was seeing a big gap in the workplace and home life,
Mm,
and where, well, I'm going to be this at work, but I'm going to be this at home. Well, we're one person. And so why not be your strengths all day long and be your authentic self instead of performing every
mm.
day?
Hi, that's just a mic drop right there. Like, what would it look? I mean,
Yeah.
really, what would
Yeah.
it look like to stop performing?
There you go. And that's exactly what my book says on the back. It says you don't need to be more productive. You need to be more you. Stop performing, start leading. And so things are hard, Wendy, when we're trying to perform. They're so hard, but they're so easy when we're just using our unique talents. We're 1 in 34 million with those talents. Nobody else is made in this world to do what we've been made to do, each of us. So why are we using that and managing our energy instead of our time?
Oh my gosh. It's so good. It's so, I love, love. Look at
Here
that.
it is.
Everyone, get the book, get the book, get the book,
Internal
people.
revolution. Yes. And that's why I called it internal revolution. Lead authentically and build your personal brand from within.
Yes.
Right now, we've got AI. We've got so many things coming at us. Is that a real person? Is it a fake person? Is she performing? Is she not? It's like, how fun and energizing just walk in and be you.
Right. It's so beautiful. There are some things that I need to hear over and over and over again
Yeah.
before they land. And then there are some things that I hear one time. For example, I had a coach that once said, the how is not your responsibility.
Mm.
And I was like, oh, awesome. Okay. Like, I don't even have to make a sticky note for that. Like, that one's in
Mhm.
there. And reading Dan Sullivan's book, Who Not How, he
Yes.
says procrastination is an indicator from your inner wisdom that someone else should be doing this. You should delegate it. And for you to say, why try to hone your less popular
Yeah.
strengths and just stay in your lane? It's like, oh my word, it's revolutionary and it makes total sense.
And it's, but what you talked about in the beginning was freedom. There is a freedom there when you know. For example, and my husband told this story at a party the other night. He said, yeah, when we learned our strengths, he is activator. Well, I didn't know what that meant. It's like you say something needs to be done, he just jumps and goes. And sometimes
Oh,
it's good. Sometimes he doesn't think. We have to stop and think a little bit.
right?
But
Do not sell the house.
don't sell the house yet. Don't tear down that wall yet. But I used to think, oh my gosh, he's emptying the dishwasher. Maybe he thinks I'm not, so I
Mm.
had those stories. And then once I learned he had activated, I was like, you go for that and go ahead and you can do the wash and you can do it just gives
Mm.
him energy to activate things.
Isn't that beautiful?
It is. So then, yeah, so it really helps when you see that and And then I have an assistant that loves details. Well, I need that because I'm the big picture person. So
Hmm.
she gives me energy by knowing she's got the details. She loves discipline. If I had somebody just like me working with me, we wouldn't
Right.
get anywhere. We would just have a lot of fun, but we wouldn't get anywhere. And she's moving the needle. So it's that knowing what you have, but knowing who you need alongside you,
Exactly.
partner up with to help you make whatever goal you're creating for the next year or what you're doing for yourself.
Right. Oh my gosh, I love that. How
Yeah.
do we use these strengths or
Mm.
find out our strengths to obtain these beautiful dreams that are in our hearts? I had a woman on the podcast last year, amazing. Her name is Dina Barron. She is a numerologist,
Oh, wow.
which is not something that I had any information about, but I was fascinated by
Hmm.
what she had to share. And she shared that 2025 was in numerology a 9 year. So two
Hmm.
plus zero plus two plus five equals nine. And in numerology, it goes to nine. So nine is a year of completion.
Mm.
And it was also in the lunar calendar, the year of the snake. So the shedding. So again, like
Ah,
I know only enough to get in trouble, but I'm very
uh,
curious about these things.
yes.
So she said, whatever you're on the fence about completing with, if you don't complete by December 31st of 2025, it will be in your energetic baggage for 9 more years. And
Wow.
I was like, oh, okay, no longer on the fence about this pair of pants, about growing dahlias, about this relationship, about whatever the things were. I went through every drawer, I cleaned house. And so 2025, having been a 9 year, makes 2026 a 1 year, which is new beginnings, which is I I love beginnings. I love the first day of vacation. I love like the first look at a wedding because I know I've got so much. I love actually hair and makeup because that's what happens first. Like it's
Yeah.
so good. Like I love beginnings. So as we are in this beginning of a year, beginning of a new cycle, all the things that I know about and don't know about, how can we implement these strengths? For example, you said that you're a visionary, but what's the
So it's
actual
ideation and
idea?
futuristic.
Oh,
It's
and
two of them
futuristic.
together.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. And so you need an implementer. You need someone with details.
Hmm.
So are there any, and forgive me, I know very little about strength finders,
No,
except
that's
for
fine.
that it's a thing. And I've
Yeah.
had a few of you fabulous practitioners on the show. Are there some, like, for example, if you have these, this is a good person to partner with in your business? Or are there some basic recipes of what works?
Yeah, I think it's knowing, there's four domains of strengths. And so it's, executing, strategic thinking, relationship building, and then influencing. Influencing is always the lowest one.
Okay.
And so I tend to be strategic thinking and executing is kind of mine. And so my relationship, I have individualization for my relationship. So I'm going to always build relationships, but I'm using my individualization, which is a customizer. So that I know that's why coaching, working with leaders, being a leadership strategist is
Right.
really just puts me on fire
Yeah.
because I'm using my strategic and I'm using my individualization. My
Mm,
executing helps me get it done, but I have so many ideas and futuristic thinking. I'm already thinking always 3 years out,
right.
and then having to do the reverse of that because people with futuristic, you have to bring in the future. So for
Right.
2020, I've been working on 2026 for like 6 months. So that's common. Whereas people that don't have strategic in their top 10, are going to rely on somebody that has
Right.
strategic to help them set their goals, right?
Sure. So that's where you've got your activator
Yeah, that's where you
is
got
gonna
your executing people. And so
perfect.
it's not really a hiring tool, it's used for development.
Sure.
But it's the how you do things. It's the how you process information, how you get things done. And when you're in your strengths and all the data from Gallup owns CliftonStrengths. So
Okay.
Dr. Clifton created it in the 60s and then he bought the Gallup companies in the 90s and then it's all under that. And so and this is why I love the tool because there's constant research and data.
Yes. Right.
And I love the data because then it shows like, okay, what's the latest thing right now in the workplace? Well, it's quiet cracking. Have you heard that?
No.
Quiet cracking is where I'm just fine on the outside, but inside my body is just not feeling right.
Mm,
I might be a little off, might be a little having, well, something's going on because I'm holding everything inside,
mhm.
but I'm not going to show up that way at work.
Right.
I'm going to show up that I'm fine.
Mhm.
And so this is why leaders, we went from quiet quitting to now we're in quiet cracking. People are staying on the job. They call that job hugging. They're
Mm,
staying on the job because they don't want to leave because it's a crazy time right now with,
Right.
finances and stuff. So they're hugging their job, but they don't want to get promoted because they don't want to have to go do something different that might stretch them, that might cause them to lose their job. So they're
Hmm.
just going to stay right here. And so you got all that going on in the workplace. So what I like to do is help leaders know their strengths, work from the inside out first, and then let's get to know the strengths of the team and then build a plan for the year or the next 2 to 3 years. And that's where we see transformation. And
Right.
so it's really exciting when you start seeing it. I cannot tell you how many people, you'll get tears in their eyes when they learn their strengths. I was always told I wasn't good at this, so I never wanted to do this. I'm like, well, don't
Mm,
listen to that voice anymore because we got something
right.
new for you to really build on. Because when
Right.
you know your strengths, you're just infinitely, you can improve them. But the ones at the bottom, you can't, they're like this much you can improve.
Sure.
That's why I keep saying stay in the top 10, stay
Right.
with those strengths. And it's amazing to watch the growth and the excitement because people want to feel seen and heard and valued.
Yep.
And strengths help them. Oh, like if I knew your strengths, Wendy, I can pick up on some of them, like a little
Sure.
empathy I'm picking up. You can pick up on them and then you can call, oh, I just saw your empathy. That was amazing how you felt that when I said that. And then it makes like, oh, somebody sees me.
So I have two questions for you.
Yes,
One of
yes.
them, do our strengths change, or do we finally come to a place where we go back to our strengths instead of what we've been conditioned to perform?
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Here's my coach coming out. Tell me a favorite experience when you were growing up.
I don't need to age myself. Everybody knows how old I am, but I loved Love Boat, that show. I
Yes.
loved it because Julie McCoy had a clipboard, and I like to be in charge. I'm the clipboard. I became a wedding planner for 30. I'm the girl with the clipboard. And one of my very fun experiences, I'm going to say job, I think I was probably 8 or 9,
Hmm.
and my brother played baseball at Park and Rec,
Hmm.
and the summer leaders, I think they must have been freshmen in college, Doug and Steve, had this office in between the bathrooms at the park, and it
Hmm.
was a disaster. And so they let me, quote unquote, let me clean their office while they played baseball. And I was so excited because nobody was in my way and I got to organize, and I was like assembling all of their clipboards and cleaning things and being in charge and creating a beautiful, spacious environment for them to return to, which of course didn't last because it wasn't important to them. But that was
Hmm.
so fun for me that somebody let me organize their chaos because it wasn't my chaos. So it didn't feel
Hmm.
hard. It felt fun.
Hmm. So you took that into your career
I did.
and now you're organizing your podcast, you're organizing all the things you're doing. So I would say you probably have the strength of discipline.
Mhm.
And so like are your keys in the same place
Oh,
usually or
yes, where they go.
yeah,
Mhm.
most people, I don't have discipline. My keys are wherever they end up.
Oh, I can't help you find them because I only know where to look where they belong.
This is why my assistant Ellie has discipline because she's
Right.
helping me a lot. So to answer your question, do your strengths change? No, they have been with you since you were a child,
Mhm.
but they can be developed over time, like into that, like you're morphing them into your role right now.
Right.
And so they can be used constantly. But I know that about you. So I know how disciplined you are with everything. So we're going to always talk about that. And it's like, oh my gosh, can you come help me, Wendy? I got to
Yes, I
organize
can.
something. And it
Yes, I
gives
can.
you energy to do that.
Mhm.
Now, you can take strengths. Like I have an 8-year-old granddaughter and I have a 10-year-old granddaughter. They're getting ready to take their strengths for the first time. It's called Strengths Quest.
Oh, fascinating. Okay, I have a 12-year-old, so this is
Yes.
very
And what you
interesting.
can do is have them take it. The 8-year-old will get up and start organizing just like you. She loves to put all the color pins. She organized. I didn't say a word. I said, "Do you want to help me this morning?" And or she organized everything. I thought, okay, this girl's going to have discipline. The other one, every time something happens that's very emotional, she was at camp this summer at the same camp where all the girls died. She was there and
Oh,
back a week before. And so she was literally in bed for 3 days after that. But she would grabbed her heart the minute
mm,
she heard. Now, most of us grab something just
right.
like you did.
Yeah,
I know already she's got empathy.
sure.
I know she's an empath.
Right.
She's going to feel things before she's going to feel the room. She's going to know the room.
Yeah.
My stepfather was over and he has dementia and he was trying to
Mm,
eat her cookie. And I was like, oh, that's her cookie. No, let him have the cookie.
right.
It's that empath.
Yeah.
So when you know that about children, and I did a podcast with kids in junior high and their librarian who's a strengths coach, and they
Mm,
talked about how strengths help them in junior high. Well, then when you're in high school, you can take the strengths assessment that I use right now for career leaders. But I always tell people take it once more after you've been in your career for about 10 years
sure.
because they shift in that top 10 and you
Sure.
just want to see what's coming up. So that's how we answer that question. So, your first time to take is most organic, but if you took it at 8, I'm going to have you take it again when you're in high school and again probably when you're 10 years into your career.
Sure.
But you see, like football teams, like in Kansas City Chiefs, they use strengths. You see, UT, I'm in Texas, so the head of UT, he's a big strengths advocate. You see a lot of really cool leaders using it,
Right.
and people because it's backed by science. And
Right.
it's easy, and it's not numbers; it's words that you can describe yourself,
Right. Exactly.
and
I
you
always have to look up what my number is
yeah,
or what my letters are
yeah.
for
And
all
then
those.
you can create your own affirmations based on your unique talents. So
Right.
that's what I've done. I've created a sheet for people that if they don't want to create it, because I have ideation, they can use mine, but it just helps them speak to themselves when they see those
Mm,
triggers come up that we talked about at the beginning.
sure.
Oh no, I've got strategic. I've got this.
Right. That's so
And it's just
great.
knowing how to use it because you get energy, you're more confident,
Yes.
and you're more power. You just got all this energy to get things done.
And because, like you said, like you are pulling from your own reserves.
Right.
So you mentioned the second thing I wanted to ask you was you mentioned before your mic drop of not performing.
Yes.
How does this interact at home? And how
Oh,
can we actually be the same person
yeah.
in both places?
Well, I think, it's funny. We just coming off of the holidays into 2026, and people are thinking about what they want to do and be. And usually there's some time at home where you're setting your goals or you're at the Thanksgiving table, or, maybe it's Valentine's, you're creating something. And here we are in April. And once you get your strengths report, and there's like 5 different reports you get when you get your top 34, share those with your spouse, with your partner, with your date, says you're dating
Yeah.
somebody serious and you want to know them and they want to know you. Here's who I am, because those reports are written just for you. So if you have empathy and if I have empathy, our reports are going to be different because it's based on the algorithm of all your talents.
Sure.
When my daughter got engaged 11 years ago, I had my new son-in-law, take his strengths, right? And I was like,
We
oh,
would love to offer our daughter's hand in marriage.
yeah, but
On
you
the
got to
other
take your
side,
strengths first.
that's right. Just click on
That's
this
right.
link.
So he took his strengths and he had ideation and I think input and election and some really thinking themes. But I saw that ideation. And so they got engaged before Christmas. So I gave him a book and it said ideas. That was all, just a blank journal. He goes, how did you know this is what I'd want? And I'm like, well, hello.
Right.
And then I know when I'm communicating with him that he's going to have some ideas, but he's going to go think about things. And
Mm.
so with his input, which loves to research, he researches everything. So I'm like, this is great. I'll have him research how to best
I
mics for a podcast or, you
right.
know,
Oh, I love this. It's such a superpower that
it
helps
is.
you just be a better everything.
Yes.
in a way that's not trickery, but it's alignment.
Hmm. And if you're managing in a family, you're
Mhm.
managing different generations.
Right?
At work, you're managing different generations. We were having a conversation with a leader about this yesterday. If you know your strengths of your people, it doesn't matter. As long as you know them, that's how you're going to connect with them.
Right.
And everybody needs something different. It's not all the same. So,
Yes, and that doesn't have to feel overwhelming
no.
because they have different strengths than you do. You know what they are
Yeah,
because you have the
exactly.
information. Oh, it's so wonderful. Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was supposed to ask you this at the beginning, but like I
That's
said, I knew it was going to be a great conversation. We just dove
okay.
right in there.
We
But
dove
I
in
would
there.
love to know, how are you saying yes to yourself in this season?
Ah, so the book just came out. So we talked about year of completion. I was like, I'm going to write this book in 2025 and I'm going to get it out.
That's right.
So what I haven't done was go out and speak about it. And
Mm,
so that's what I'm saying yes to in
right.
26. Yeah. And really, when I look at, I created what's called your authentic imprint, and it's
Mm,
strengths plus your core values plus your personal mission statement, and then times your emotional recognition. Like you were explaining emotional recognition when you were talking about your thoughts this morning.
okay. Okay.
That was your emotional recognition, and you managed it by thinking about what the cue was and why were you thinking that. And then you said, that's not me, right? So that's emotional recognition, and that's the magnifier for it all.
Okay.
And so what we realize is some people they think they're somebody, but they don't know until they get their strengths. So that's part of the formula. That's just half the
Sure.
formula. The other half is knowing what are your core values. Those are how you make decisions, how you get things done. And then what's your personal mission statement? Do you have one? And then multiply that times your emotional recognition. So when you're in those moments, like we are going to have every day, you can go
Right.
back to your authentic imprint and say that. So I created a free assessment people can take and see where they are in the formula and what they need to work on. And
Oh,
so
that's
that's what I want to
fantastic.
help get out in 26 and say yes to, so that people get to experience that and experience the joy of being their authentic self.
Oh, I love it so much. Well, we will, of course, link all of that down in the show notes because there's so much. I mean, obviously, there's power in and connection, connective power,
Right.
not oppressive power, but connective power in knowing the strengths of the
Yeah.
people that we are in service to, in service with, caring for. But there's so much transformational power in knowing ourselves.
Mhm. One of the exercises I have people do in the book is it's called the life map, and
Mm.
it is where they draw a line from birth to current, and you draw all the things that happened in your life. It might be that little baseball, thing you
Right.
did. It could be a move. I had, birth and sisters come along and parents get divorced and all the things that happen. And then you look at it and you see a pattern. So I'm a
Mm.
pattern. I've got strategic. So I'm always looking at patterns. So you see a pattern, and then all of a sudden you think, why am I still carrying that pattern with me right now?
Interesting.
You talked about this at the beginning, how, thoughts and stuff. So then it's like, okay, where do I want to be on my 80th birthday or maybe
Mhm.
your 90th? And you draw a new line and you put, what are people feeling, saying, doing at that birthday party? For my mom, who's now going to be 90 next year, on her 80th birthday, she said she wanted to go back to college. She went back to college, got her degree at 86.
Oh, my
And
word.
yeah,
What a
she's
star.
she's miss, but she has learner in her strengths. So you can do this with older people too. She's
Sure.
learner, she has input, responsibility. So she told herself she was going to get her degree. But all that to say is, what are the patterns that that I brought into my marriage, I brought into my workplace that I don't want to carry anymore? And
Right.
what are the things I'm going to get? And then the strengths are going to help you get rid of those and
Sure.
push those down, along with a lot of, accountability and things.
Right. And in recreating a new pattern, like
Yeah.
identifying, like you said,
Yeah.
projecting what do I want people to feel and say and know? about me
Yeah.
on my 90th birthday.
Yeah.
How do I become her?
That. Hmm.
And what are the patterns that will be in service and what is it time to complete with?
Yeah. Because we all come with stuff from baggage from
Of
generations,
course.
right? And it just comes with us, and we think we're supposed to carry it on.
Right.
And we're not really supposed to. We're authentically supposed to be ourselves,
Right.
that uniqueness we've been created to do, to created to be.
Oh, I love that. I love how it all feels, and I know I said it already, but it just feels like a permission slip to
Yes.
be
That's a good point.
who we're already being, but we somehow think we're doing it wrong because it's too easy, because it comes naturally. It's like,
Hmm.
oh my gosh, this is allowed. And I love how the process is very clear
Hmm.
and there is a requirement to give the time required to hold that space for yourself to do this work. One of the things that I do, I have a historic bed and breakfast on a small flower farm in Massachusetts.
Gosh,
It's so dreamy.
wonderful.
I know.
Do you have the clipboard out with
Yes,
the,
I do.
yeah.
And I lead culinary trips to France for solo female travelers. So
Oh my
I am
goodness.
so in my strengths, queen. This is so good.
Coordinating travel.
But it's the same
Perfect.
thing as wedding planning. I
Yeah,
know
it
how to
is.
bring amazing vendors
What a gift.
together to create a beautiful experience for my client. So now instead of a couple, I have four clients. They're all my brides, and I'm shuttling them around. They don't have to think about anything. Just
Oh, that's
show
awesome.
up and they can decide, do you want coffee, champagne, both, neither? What do you want? It's all good.
Oh my gosh.
It's so fun. But one of the things I do at the bed and breakfast is I host, well, I don't host that, but they have solo retreats. So I love holding space for women that are holding space for themselves. And I think it would
Mm-hmm.
be so beautiful. I usually, roll out a big length of butcher paper and I've got colored pencils in the
Hmm.
library and they can just like mind map, create the life that you
Love it.
want. What would it look like? But I think it would be so beautiful to implement your work into that. So when you get a list of your strengths and they all support this dreamy life you've created or desire, you can see, oh, I'm not doing it wrong. I'm not being lazy. I'm not taking the easy way out. I was created to only be available for what delights me. So it is
Absolutely.
perfect that that's the life that I am living.
Hmm.
I really I love how these things can integrate
Hmm.
into what we're doing. It's really beautiful.
And it's really positive psychology too, when you think about it. And it is Dr. Clifton's he's the father of positive psychology. And I think in a world right now where we got to break through all that and just be and stay in that hula hoop and talk about
Right.
all the things we've been made to do and spend time doing that.
Right. And I love that you called it a hula hoop. I just think it's a beautiful and it's not irresponsible. We don't have to check in with everybody else to get buy-in on us living our best life.
Right. That was in my journal this morning. Do not let the behavior of others destroy your inner peace.
Oh,
And we do that, especially if we have empathy or we have other things where we're people pleasing or we're being
mhm.
codependent and we don't think about, no, no, I don't need to own that. That's not mine.
That's right. That's right. Just like when you're at baggage claim, we do not take luggage that doesn't have our name on it.
That's
We're
right.
just going to let that keep going around. That
That's
bag does
right.
not have my name on it. I am not picking that up.
That's right. That's such a good metaphor. Perfect metaphor for that.
Yes.
That's
Fantastic.
so
Oh my
good.
gosh. Okay. As predicted, I have loved this conversation.
Well, I have loved it too, Wendy. You're so fun. I mean,
Oh, right back
listening
at
to
you.
all the things you're doing, and you're a woman after my own heart that loves to organize.
It's so
I'll
fun.
have the ideas, you go organize them, right?
Perfect. Well, you can host the Strength Finders retreat at the B&B.
Yes,
It'll be so fantastic.
absolutely.
All you have to do
Absolutely.
is show up. It'll all be done for you.
Love it.
Right? It's so good. It's so
I
good.
love it.
Well, please tell everyone where they can find and follow you. Tell us about
Yes.
the podcast, the book,
Yes.
all the good things.
Yes. So danawilliamsco.com is where you can find me.
Perfect.
And the book is called The Internal Revolution, and you can find that on Amazon. We also have it on my website. And my podcast is called Dominate Your Day. And we work with people like you, Wendy, and other leaders out there and just listen and coach and share stories. And it's really fun.
Yay. Well, I can attest that it is very fun to be in your energy and in your beautiful space. So thank you so much for your time. I can't wait to chat again.
Well, thank you for having me. It was really fun today. Did we really talk that long?
I know, it's so
It went by
fun.
too fast.
It
So
always
thank
does.
you.
Thank you. I hope you enjoyed that conversation as much as I did. As always, any links or notes mentioned can be found at phineaswrighthouse.com in the podcast section of our site or in the show notes below. And if you haven't connected with me personally, come find me on Instagram at Phineas Wright House and let me know you listened to this episode. I'd love to get to know you. Thank you for sharing this time with me. I know your days are full, and I'm really grateful that you chose to spend some of your precious time right here. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any of these delightful conversations. I'll see you next week.